everybody. Welcome back to Two Nerds and a Podcast. Today, well, first of all, happy May the 4th. It's definitely not May the 4th when this episode is going to go up. But happy May the 4th. I hope
Close
everybody
enough.
enjoyed their Star Wars Day. And it's still May, so it's fine.
It's
But
close
I hope
enough.
everybody had a great Star Wars Day. Yeah. And we are going to be talking about Star Wars Nite at Disneyland. I got to go this year. I was invited to go. And yeah, so that's what we're talking about today. It was fine. I mean, we still had fun because, it's always fun to go to Disneyland.
Was it really crowded? Was it super crowded?
No. I mean, okay, so here's the setup, right? It's a quote unquote night event. They let you in the park at 6 and they kick you out of the park at 1 a.m. 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. is when you're allowed to be in the park.
That's so late.
Yeah, but like I got to I took the day off, so I got to sleep in.
Oh, well, I cannot stay up till that late. By like 9:30, 10, I'm like, man, ooh, my eyelids are heavy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, 1:30, dude, that's crazy. That is so
Yeah.
crazy.
And actually it was weird because I wasn't really that tired when we left, so my sleep schedule and everything hit me just right. But so that's the time limit, right? So that's, what is it, 8 hours? 7 hours, right?
Yeah.
Except the Star Wars stuff doesn't start until 9. So it's technically a 4-hour event, which if it was in just Batu or just Tomorrowland, where they had if they had all of the stuff more in just one location instead of it was very spread out all over the park, then it would have been better. Because here's the thing,
because you can stay in one area for the whole time.
Exactly, because they have everything offset, so for most things it's every hour. For certain things, they do a little lightsaber meetup, and they do they did a lightsaber parade. They did, which my favorite part was the cantina band was playing on the little rafts that float in around Tom Sawyer Island.
I saw somebody post a video of that, and I was like, "Oh, that's amazing."
That was absolutely immaculate. Top vibes. Whoever those people were dressed as the Cantina band, they bought the energy, man. We could see them when they're getting ready to set sail. They're you can see them jumping up and down and getting up hyped and get super excited. And I mean, they're not playing actual instruments, they're just miming the instruments.
Yeah.
But they were full hype. It was fabulous, but I never realized how fast that raft could move, because they just went right around the river, and I was like, wow, they're really booking it out here. But I guess, to be fair, the cantina music only lasts so many minutes, so they probably try not to have it loop really annoyingly all the time. But they had I feel like they should have started letting you do the Star Wars, the photo ops and stuff at 6. Because it's very much I feel, because Casey and I have been, when we do horror nights, we do the after 2 p.m. and you get 2 p.m. to 7 to do all the rides and stuff like that. Disney's not like that. You get 3 hours to do a few rides at Disney, but since everybody else is still in the park,
that's
so you gotta,
a couple of rides. Still fight the crowds.
Yeah, so it was really nice though, because Pirates of the Caribbean, I think, was a 20-minute wait, which it was honestly 20 minutes of walking. It wasn't even standing in place. And then Indiana Jones was still a 45-minute wait.
Ugh.
And then we went on Smuggler's Run because we figured we'd just get over to Batu before the festivities began. And I think that was a half an hour wait. So, like, there's your 3 hours right there. Is just
Yeah, gross.
walking from ride to ride and then getting on those 3 rides. Whereas, like, when you and I do horror nights, like, I mean, we had the fast pass last time, so we
Mhm.
literally did everything before the
Yeah.
event even started.
Yeah, last time doesn't count.
Yeah, but even like before we had the fast pass, we'd still do like I would say a good 3 quarters of the rides before horror nights
Mhm.
because they let us in so
Yeah.
early.
Yeah, we would get quite a few done.
Yeah, so I wish Disney would either let you start doing the Star Wars stuff earlier or let you into the park earlier because I kind of thought 6 p.m. was a bit late. What can you do at Disneyland during the day in 3 hours? You can do 3 rides and that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, at that, especially at that point in the day,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, because I
that's when
mean,
people, yeah.
yeah, the park closed to everybody else at 8, but
Mhm.
still that you've got 2 hours of overlap between the event
Exactly.
people
Yeah.
and the people who are there anyways. So I wish that kind of setup was a bit better because like they have a lot of like photo op opportunities. We did one. Um, we did just the one, and it didn't even involve like any people. And it was like they had it was really cool though. A big like statue of Jabba the Hutt in his like sitting in his throne, right? So we did that one, and then they also have Han Solo in the Carbonite. So we did a little photo op with that. So I feel like that could have started at like 6,
Yeah.
stuff like that, because
Yeah, like the little things, not like the huge main.
yeah, like if
Yeah.
it involves like people in costume and stuff like that, I understand that can start. But here's the thing: is when the park is like getting ready, like they're trying to boot the general public out, they're like we got harassed by like 10 different employees back to back going, "Where's your wristband? Where's your badge?" And I'm literally wearing them. Like, I just talked to the 5 people back there. Why are you yelling at me still? Like, they were like super aggressive about it, and I'm like, oh, okay. So that was a bit because I feel like again we normally do the day to night horror nights pass, and
Yeah.
they normally just see the wristband and they're like, okay, you're good to go, and then move right along. Like the Disney people were like had the flashlights in your face and everything, and I'm like, okay. But it was really I love Disneyland at night. It's so
Mhm.
nice temperature wise,
And
and
it's so magical at night.
it is, especially Batu at night is
Oh,
just
yes.
so
Chef's
pretty.
kiss.
I love it, and because it's an event and it's the whole park is open except Toontown. I think Toontown's technically closed.
Oh,
Um, but the
how
rest of the
sad.
park is open, so everybody's very spread out. It was so this is why I think 4 hours isn't enough because we did one photo op. We did one themed snack. We attempted to stand in line for Rise of the Resistance, but it broke down. So we
Oh,
we only wasted like half an hour standing in line. We didn't
that's
wait
not too
longer than
bad.
that.
That's not too bad.
We did do the little like lightsaber parade, which was fun. We did witness the like lightsaber meetup thing, but again because we had come off a ride, so we got stuck in the like crowd that they were trying to keep moving out of the area. There was just so many people in that area when we came out of the ride, and like, oh my gosh.
So wait, what else? Like, was there like a bunch of things to do? Like, what else was there
No,
Star Wars related? Like, what makes it?
they had like if you follow any like true blue influencers online, they will show you all of the amazing things. I did not have that experience as a normal person. But they like we were gonna get like an actual like meal to eat because the only thing I had to eat was breakfast, and that was at like 9 a.m. So,
Mhm.
at this point, when Star Wars started, it's 9 p.m. I'm
Mhm.
starving. Um, I did like we got into the park and I looked at my two friends that I went with, Brooke and Lauren, and I go, I need a churro. And they went, okay. So like Brooke ended up buying one of those magic bands and I was like, she was gonna like set it up and I'm like, can we do that in line at the churro cart? Because I'm starving.
Like, "I'm
So
going to die. Please, thank
yes.
you."
Yeah, so I got my churro and then we got in line for pirates. She got her magic band set up. Um, but I stood in line for the Grogu shaped beignets,
Mhm, I saw those.
which were delicious. I'm not a big matcha person in
Mm,
general.
I love matcha.
Um,
Love me some matcha.
but they were matcha flavored beignets, but they had a white chocolate dipping sauce, which was like the combination was to die for. They were so delicious. And we had gotten in line just in time where they brought out a fresh batch, so they were still nice and hot and
Wait, so
delicious.
you didn't eat any actual food?
No, because guess how long we waited in line for those beignets?
Oh god, I don't even wanna know.
40 minutes for
What was it
beignets.
was it worth it that though, the 40 minutes?
Yes and no because they were delicious, but like it was such a colossal waste of time as well.
Yeah, that's 40 minutes, that's crazy.
Here's the
That's why,
thing.
like, I won't I listen, like, merch lines and food
Mhm.
lines, and I'm like, I would this is not like I'm getting to, like, go on a ride or, like, getting to see the band. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just standing here, and I wanna be done with that.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
And here's the thing is because they're beignets, so they still had them at Tiana's place
Mhm.
or palace or whatever the, the restaurant is
Just
called. I could
what, just not
uh,
the fancy ones?
yeah, yeah, they had it just at that restaurant.
Oh.
And so it's like, okay, but then they had themed food in Batu, they had themed food in Tomorrow. It was so spread out that there was no like efficient way to do anything.
Mhm.
Because we were just like, well, we'll float from place. You don't think you need to be like on top of everything, right? You just like float from thing to thing and there'll always be something about to start or catch the
Yeah.
end of something. No. Everything was so spread out, not only in time, but also space, that it didn't flow as nicely.
Especially because like, Disney, like I like, it is like a there's no, like, efficient way to get around Disney without
No.
having to, like, deal with some part of the park that, like, you have to cut through or go through to,
Mm-hmm.
like, get from one side to the other.
Yeah, and I think too the way the park is laid out for Star Wars things in particular is you've got Batu at the very, very back of the park,
Mhm.
and you've got Tomorrowland at the
At the
very,
very
very
front.
front.
Yeah.
So there's not really like a good connecting point between those two. So I kind of hope because I do know Disneyland has a lot of plans for redoing, particularly Tomorrowland. Autotopia is getting yanked out, and so is the Nemo
R.I.P.
submarines.
Oh my god, rest I didn't know that. Rest in
Yeah.
peace.
So
The
both
Nemo
of
ones
those,
haven't even been there that long, have they?
yes, it has. We are old,
Oh,
Casey.
oh, we're gonna go through that in our Disney
Yeah,
series.
we will. We will go that into
Oh
that later.
man.
But
Okay.
so both of those things are getting yanked out. That actually takes a lot of land.
What?
I've heard that's gonna be like the Avatar stuff because we don't have that at Disneyland. Um,
Ooh.
but my hope is when they do that is that they I would love for them to move Star Tours closer to Batu because I feel like there's
Mhm.
space that they could do that. I don't think they would move necessarily Space Mountain. I feel like maybe they could easily revamp that to fit into whatever land they're going to want that to be, you know? As much as I love Space Mountain. Or maybe they could also move Space Mountain. And I feel like Buzz Lightyear, they could just get rid of that because they have so many iterations of that
Oh,
particular
yeah.
ride that we don't need
And Web
Buzz
Slingers
Lightyear.
is so much better.
Yeah, they have Web Slingers, Toy Story Mania, and Buzz Lightyear. They're all essentially the same ride. Web Slingers just has the newest technology, so you don't need to
And
shoot anything.
Toy Story is Buzz Lightyear. So
Yeah.
we got it's a 2
So
for 1 right there.
yeah, I feel like Buzz Lightyear's no longer needed. And then the store that's in there can definitely move to be by Toy Story Mania. I know that's in California Adventure, so there would be nothing like it in Disneyland, but I feel like we'd all survive.
Yeah.
Um, I think we'd all be okay. Or again, they could revamp it to be whatever that new themed section is going to be. Like I feel like
Oh.
that would be easy enough to just change the little cars you ride in and then change all the stuff you see and make it something else.
Mhm.
Like they do with a lot of their other rides, which again, we're going to talk about in the Disney series quite a lot. Um, but I think because I think the three, like, obviously Tomorrowland and Batu were the two main centers, but they also had a
Mhm.
lot of stuff in Fantasyland, which I thought
Ew.
was a weird choice.
Yeah, Fantasyland is icky and real
Yeah.
squishy in there.
Yeah, which they had a lot of photo op opportunities in there, and I'm like, that's kind
Well, I
of
guess
a
was there like there was probably not a lot of like children there, I would assume,
correct.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it was actually quite beautiful because there wasn't strollers everywhere.
Yeah, that is good.
When we were eating our one snack, I didn't have to like fight anybody for our table because like all of the tables were open.
Mhm. That's
Um,
good. That is good.
Yeah, they had a lot of like characters walking around, which was really cool. We were actually in Batu and we were gonna walk to Rise of the Resistance, and I had seen Fennec Shand walking around, and I was like, "Hey guys, look!" The other two, no clue, no clue. And I went, "Look, it's Fennec." She was talking to somebody else. And so we just kind of like hovered because I wanted to talk and see if she'd take a picture. And then I wasn't even paying attention because Lauren and I were talking to Fennec, right? We're having this conversation. It's great. And then all of a sudden, deep, grovelly voice. And I look up and it's just Mando's chest in my face.
Oh,
And I'm like,
did you get
oh,
to see the baby?
I did get to see the baby.
Oh,
He was very
every
cute.
time without me. Oh my gosh. Wait,
Yes.
did you also got to see the little Ewoks?
Yes, we walked by
Oh,
them.
they're
Yeah.
so cute. Oh my god, I
Yeah,
saw it
so
on Instagram and
on
I was like, "Oh,
Instagram,
I'm dead."
yeah, the Ewoks were you know when you walk from Haunted Mansion through the like Country Bear
Yeah. Mhm.
restaurant, they were right in front of the Country Bear
Oh,
restaurant. That was
they're so silly.
their little alcove. And it's so cute because they had like the Ewok music from the movie
Oh.
playing and stuff, so super magical. But yes, we got to see Mando and the baby, and Mando 100% flirted with me. It was fabulous. Um, he was
I
like, "You look a
love
little nervous," and I was like, "I'm not nervous. You're
You're like,
nervous."
You're nervous."
um, but yeah, so that was really fun. So like when you find those like little nuggets of like little Star Wars magic,
Mhm.
it was fabulous. But honestly, like I was telling my dad, they really need to like streamline where you walk. So like you start, at point A and go B, C, D instead of just being like go wherever.
Mhm.
Just do whatever you want whenever. Like I feel like when you're walking through like a convention hall, like especially like Artist Alley, and they have everybody, walking one lane down the booths and then you go the next lane and walk back
Mhm.
up, and then they
Mhm.
need to kind of do that with all of the stuff. They need to be like I don't know, somehow create a very clear path where all of the Star Wars stuff goes from Batuu to Tomorrowland in one stripe through the park.
Yeah.
So like only those restaurants in the stripe will be open, and that's where you would get all the themed food, and then people can go sit wherever they want. All of the photo ops should be along this one street so that you can just go from one to the other without having to go find them.
Yeah.
Um and then like, the little lightsaber parade and all of that, you can keep it wherever, but it just wasn't streamlined enough that you could do everything. That's my biggest qualm with this. Because here's the thing. I have a pass and my friend Lauren has a pass, but she's got like the expensive pass. So we go to Disneyland on a somewhat regular basis.
Mhm.
This ticket is an additional $150.
Shut up.
No.
On top of that, oh my
Yeah.
god.
So you
That's
so
insane.
your pass doesn't get you anything. It's literally $150. So like it was kind of nice because again, Lauren and I have passes, and then Brooke, she got the 3-day California special ticket thing.
Mhm.
So we had all been to Disneyland within the last 2 weeks before this event. So I didn't feel like we missed anything by
Mhm.
not going on all of the rides. But if you're not a family who regularly goes to Disneyland,
Yeah, it's definitely like you have to be a regular
yeah,
almost. Yeah.
yeah. Um
Otherwise you wouldn't be able to do everything.
no, and even like I just thought there would be more Star Wars stuff, but maybe we hit everything at the wrong time. You know,
Mhm.
when you're just like slightly off schedule and you just miss everything by a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that was us because we literally, after the park quote unquote closed, we didn't ride any rides. We were just walking from, you know, we went and got beignets, and then we saw the cantina band, and then we saw this, and we saw that.
Mhm.
That was all we
Yeah,
did.
you weren't
Oh,
actually like going on the rides, yeah.
the only ride we rode was actually Star Tours.
I I don't think I've ridden Star Tours since they've updated it.
It's pretty cool. We got, because they added some more characters, and so we
Mhm.
actually got Ahsoka on
Oh.
our, yeah. But I heard you can get Mando and you can get Cassian Andor, so those are my two that I would like to have at some point because I love them.
We'll definitely have to go on it when I'm out there.
Yes, absolutely, because I know it's been a long time since Wyatt's been to Disney too, so we're gonna hit all the rides. Yeah, and just the updated graphics of Star Tours too with the newer movies is spectacular. So you get like a different adventure every time.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the only ride we rode during uh the event. So we rode Star Tours. I ate one beignet, actually one and a half. Lauren and I split it because I was like, I don't like matcha that much that I need my own. I
Mhm.
also thought we were gonna get food at some point, so I was like, I don't need. I already had a churro. I don't need more sweets. Um, we took a picture with Jabba the Hutt and Han Solo and Carbonite. We walked by the Ewoks because the line for the Ewoks literally looked like the regular line for Rise of the Resistance.
Oh my god, I could
It was
imagine. They were very cute, so I
huge.
get it. I get
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah. We walked by, and I'm like, "What is this line for?" And so Lauren actually asked somebody, and they were like, "Oh, the Ewoks are gonna be here." And we all went,
Oh my god.
I get it now." Um, but yeah, so it just 4 hours for it being that spread out throughout the park. Not enough time.
Yeah.
Also, which this next thing is my general qualm with a lot of things. Most, we were not the last event, but we were also not the first event of Star Wars Night. But a lot of the exclusive stuff was already gone.
Really?
Yeah, like the merch and stuff was gone.
Dang.
Yeah, so, like, I'm a pin collector, so the pins, the one guy I talked to said he was like, "Oh, yeah, those are, like, sold out, like, the first night." And I'm like, "What the heck?" I would think that everybody who purchased a ticket would be guaranteed at least, like, a sticker or a pin or, like, something. Don't get me wrong, they gave us a really cool lanyard,
Mhm.
which I put my keys on. But, like, that was the only thing we got included with our ticket was the lanyard. So, the pins were sold out. I think most of the t-shirts were sold out. Most of the sweatshirts were sold out.
Dang
Um,
it, and I bet you had, like, a bunch of people that you were picking trying to pick up stuff for, huh? Like, you always like, every time?
yeah, but even then, most of the time, especially with pins, I normally, because for stuff like that, the limit is normally 2, which is fine because I get one for me and then one for my dad. But this time, they didn't have anything little like that, so I actually picked up they had an ornament, and a magnet, and so that was all I bought.
Mm.
And I was kinda surprised they didn't have more Star Wars merchandise. It was just the same
Which you would
Star
think there
Wars
would be,
merchandise.
especially if it's, like, an exclusive you have to pay $150 to be here.
Mhm.
You would think that they would have merch. Like, even, like, at Universal Studios, like, during Horror Nights, like,
They have so
they
much.
have so much merch, like, anybody could buy it all the time. So I'm
Mhm.
like, why wouldn't they you would think that they would want to have more because people would buy it regardless.
Yeah. And that's what I don't get, especially, like, Star Wars, I feel like it's such I get, like, when you do something that's kinda like a one-off, like Sweetheart Night or Pride Night, like, stuff that's just, like,
Yeah.
they
Mhm.
might have 3 events max or just 1, then, yeah, you don't order as much merchandise because most people aren't gonna buy that, but Star Wars, especially with The Mandalorian and the new show, The Acolyte, Bad Batch Season 2, like, Star Wars is on the brain for a lot of people. So, order the merch. It's not like you won't sell it. And then, out of curiosity, I Googled what the pin looked like because I didn't even know what it looked like. People were selling it on eBay for $100 already.
Oh my god, that's
And I'm like,
crazy.
yeah, absolutely
Love a
insane.
reseller.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know, I'll have to look. I feel like the limit would have had to been 2, but I almost feel like if you know merchandise is gonna sell that fast, either order more or put the limit at 1.
Mhm.
Because, again, like I said, I'm a pin collector. Like, when I go places, I either get a pin or a patch. I try not to collect anything else because everything else is so bulky and I already have enough stuff. I don't need more stuff. But,
Yeah, pins and
I
patches are little
yeah,
trinkets.
and they're not cheap either. Like, a Disney pin
No.
is pretty expensive, and then especially exclusive ones, like, even the ones from Universal for, like, Horror Nights and stuff, those are still at least $10 or more.
Mhm.
So, I mean, and when you make a pin, you already have the mold to make that pin, so why not just make a ton and then make a ton of money? Like, I get that they want the exclusivity, but I don't know. I don't know. It just boggles my mind. I'm mad. I'm mad I didn't get my pin. I wanted my pin.
Bottom line, Jamie is
I
mad, okay?
want my pin and my patch. Apparently there was patches and they were giving those out for free. I didn't get one.
Bottom line, Jamie's mad, okay? That's all
Mad.
we need to know.
Mad. Because here's the thing is I feel like Horror Nights has spoiled me. Because there's so much, like,
There's so
good,
much.
there's so much just in general, but there's so many positive things even before we did the fast pass. Like, don't get me wrong, the fast pass, I am
Oh,
now a princess of Horror
yeah.
Nights, okay? But even before that, and people are gonna be like, can you shut up about Horror Nights? No,
No.
we get to get into the park at 2 p.m.,
Mhm.
right? We get to ride, I mean, like, the park is open, and yes, it's not as busy as Disneyland, Also depends on what day you go to, because if you go during the week, it's not normally busy anyways. But you get to at least ride, I would say, a good solid 5 rides minimum.
Hmm.
And then they have, I mean, you and I literally went, what, 4 days before Halloween last year?
Yeah, we were like,
We were late.
we were very late, and they still had so much stuff there.
So much merchandise. There was sweaters and cups and pins and patches. I mean, like, every single piece of merch you could have wanted was there. And
Hmm.
because it was almost Halloween, we got it on sale, which was fabulous. Um, but so much merchandise. And I mean, like, the people in the park could buy it, but the people outside on City Walk could buy it too. Like, it wasn't just exclusively for inside the park. You could just go to the little Universal store on City Walk and buy it in
Hmm.
there. So there was that. I didn't get freaking flashlights in the eyeballs asking where my wristband was. And then I just Universal, the one thing nice about Universal is because it is small, so everything is close. And there's like a clear, like, you do everything depending on where you start. Casey and I always start on the lower lot, but you do everything lower lot, do all of that, and then you make your way up to the upper lot, do all of that, and then you go home.
Yeah, the longest part of that is the escalators going up and down.
For sure. But like, I just feel like Disney should have concentrated. I get that they don't want to concentrate people unnecessarily, but there should have been a very clear path of travel, especially because I feel like coming from Batu to Tomorrowland, like, yeah, you do pass through Fantasyland, but I feel like they definitely could have set up stuff in that big area in front of, like, It's a Small World, and
Hmm.
then around the corner where the Matterhorn is, and just kind of do it the back way to get to Tomorrowland. Um, I don't know. There should have. I feel like it should have been more defined on where the Star Wars stuff was instead of just kind of putting it wherever.
Well, especially if you are going into it being like, it makes sense to put it where the Star Wars themed stuff is already at, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
and most of
Tomorrowland.
the yeah,
But I mean, I guess if you have that many people, you have to spread it out. But if you're gonna do that, be like, hey, this is gonna be in this area, just so you know.
yeah, and also I noticed because like with horror nights, you know how there's like signs everywhere pointing you to
Yeah,
where
like
each
where to go.
maze is.
Yeah. Hmm.
Disney didn't have any of that. So they like handed you like a little paper map at the beginning, which mine immediately got lost in the portal to the fourth dimension. That was my backpack because I was the mom of the trip, so I had the big backpack this time. But there wasn't like signs, lightsaber meet up this way, or these snacks and treats this way, or anything like that. So I feel like they could have put more directional signs up, because I hate having to whip out the map or whip out my phone every time I want to be like, "Ooh, is it this way or is it that way, or should we go
Hmm.
this way or that way?" I just want to be able to enjoy the night. And I know a lot of people are there to do Instagram worthy things and take pictures and all of that, but I also would just like to enjoy the night without having to rely on the technology or the paper map. And I feel like that's not a lot to ask for. So I had a lot of people asking if I would do it again. Like, I don't know if it was us riding off the high, but when we were leaving, the girls were like, "We're gonna do it again next year," and I went, "Okay." And then they were like, "Well, maybe we can do like multiple nights," and I went,
Ooh.
not at $150 a night.
Yeah.
I will
Ooh.
not be
Ooh.
unless I
That's
like
a rough.
freaking unless I become so famous that I get to go for free. Maybe they'll
Yeah. So
sponsor the
subscribe.
podcast. Yeah. Subscribe so we can start monetizing this little side hustle. But I was like, I mean, I think I would go again, but like I said, we're planning down to the minute.
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. I
Because
think if you were to go again, you could do one day if you made the most out of that one day.
yeah, yeah. And I think too, if I didn't even look to see if they had the map or anything online like beforehand. I'm sure somebody probably posted it somewhere if it's not
Mhm.
on the Disney website. But I would have looked at that earlier and then probably could have mapped that out. But again, when I get invited to things, I let go of the reins. Like, I am not in charge. I am not, this is not my trip. This is all on you guys. I'm simply here to enjoy. And every time I do that, I'm reminded why I am the planner of all of the friend groups that I'm a part of. I am reminded why I am the time manager of everything.
Oh yeah, if that's why listen, could you imagine if I tried to take the reins on something with us, with you and me? You would probably go insane. You'd be like, "No, we're done. My turn. My
Yeah.
turn. We're done." Like
Yeah,
the thought of
people.
it. Listen, I heard that sigh. The thought of it is already stressing you out. We're not going to do that ever.
Well, because here's the thing: is because I attract all my friends are very similar, except my friend group of moms, like actual moms.
Yeah.
All of my friends that are like close-ish to my age are all very much the same, and either they are
Mhm.
exactly like me or they are the exact opposite. There's no in between. And here's the thing, the people that are the exact opposite are the people who are always down to do something. I'd be like, hey, you want to go? I could literally text Casey and be like, you want to go to Disneyland like sometime this month? And she'll be like, yeah, tell me what dates to take off. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
done.
And I'm
And
like,
then
"Yeah,
she'd
as long
show
as
up and we
you
go.
plan it.
Yeah.
As long as
She
you
just shows
figure it
up
out, I'll be
and
there."
gets in my car. It's how those
Yeah,
go.
pretty much.
But like most of my, because again, I am normally the planner. I am normally the one inviting people. I'm making all of the arrangements. I drive. And so a lot of times, again, when I get invited to things, I'm like, great. This is your chance to shine. This is your chance to show me what two categories of my friends you belong in, right?
Show me what you got.
Be-
This is actually
you get,
listen, this is I know this is a mental pop quiz. You
yeah.
you are on the clock right now.
Yeah. I'm like, this is it. This is your one shot, okay? Get your head in the game and show me what you got. Like it's not a test, but it's a test, okay?
Yeah, you're actually every time you're around Jamie, you're being tested. Just know
Yeah.
that.
And here's the thing. You can like I know certain people like Casey or my friend Christine. I've known them forever. I know what kind of people you are. So I don't let you plan anything.
Exactly. You're like,
I
nope.
don't. You can come like this podcast. You can come to me with an idea, but I will figure
Exactly.
out the
You're
logistics,
like, listen,
okay?
it's more stressful if I were to try to plan something than if you were to just do it
Absolutely.
yourself. Because if I
Yes.
were to plan something, you would be doing it anyways. In
Yeah,
the end,
I'm still
you would just
gonna
end up doing
Thanks. So I feel like if we go next year, I will be planning. There will be a plan, um, and hopefully things will be closer together. But like I said about
Have
7 billion times,
they done this before or
I want to say yes. I feel like they did it last year. Let me see. Yeah, they definitely did it last year. I don't know if last year was the first year, but they've done other night events. It's not
Mhm.
like Star Wars is the only one they've done.
Right, like their first event.
But I feel like all the other night events are in California Adventure.
Mhm.
Like I know Villains Night, I believe it is in California Adventure. I think Sweetheart Night is in California Adventure. So I don't know if this is like one of the first ones in like Disneyland, but I don't know. It felt like poor planning, but
Yeah,
again, I don't.
it seems like it was very like it seems very like last minute unorganized.
Yeah, which is weird because like Star Wars, especially the Star Wars always has been a big deal in May because of May the 4th.
Mhm.
But I feel like especially since Disney has taken over the Star Wars franchise, that it's
Yeah.
an even bigger deal and it applies to a bigger audience.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it just kind of felt like poor planning, both in the locations of things and just like the timing of everything. Again, I we might have been just in that pocket of time where constantly nothing is happening. You know, like we're always either too early or too late for something. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I
Mhm.
guess next year we just have to look at like what times everything is in for. But I would have loved more characters to be walking around because they stayed in Batu and in Tomorrowland. Like the characters didn't really go anywhere else. So I feel like they could have had more like stormtroopers out and
Yeah.
about, maybe like
Mhm.
dressed like one dressed as a pirate or one dressed like Indiana Jones, or like they could have done like cutesy stuff like that.
Mhm.
But it just for being Star Wars night, unless you were in Tomorrowland or Batu, didn't really feel very Star Wars ish.
That's lame, especially if you're paying so much. Like, ugh, that's so lame.
Yeah, they did have the music playing throughout the park, the Star Wars music, which I thought was amazing. But yeah, and then they had a light show on the castle that played every once in a while. But again, I thought there would have been more.
Mhm.
Because it's not like they had really any other event happening while this was happening. Like, I could understand if, like, one week was Star Wars night, and then the next week was a different movie, and then they were back to, like, they were flipping back and forth between Star Wars and other stuff. But
Mhm.
I think this event started in April. So I would
Oh
have,
dang.
like, yeah, it was pretty early. So I would have, like, had all, how they have, like, the banners advertising things throughout the park.
Mhm.
Like, I would have thrown all of those as Star Wars, and I know it's a lot of money, but it would be stuff that, at least in my opinion, you would reuse every year. Put
Yeah.
pictures up of all the characters or quotes or, anything Star Wars related. I feel like they just could have done more.
Yeah. For sure, especially if you're paying $150 more.
And you're only getting four
Plus
hours.
parking, plus all that
Yeah.
plus all that jazz.
Yeah. It was fun. We still had a good time.
So what would you rate it out of like 10?
Um, I'd give it maybe a solid, like, 6.5. Mostly because Mando flirted with me, but
So that bumps it up a bit.
yes. And then of course he had Grogu with him, so you gotta give points for Grogu.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like there could have been like more Star Wars stuff outside of the two Star Wars lands. Like it just didn't feel Star Wars ish anywhere else.
Yeah. That's probably like the lamest part to
Yeah,
me.
which honestly, with all the like projector technology that they always use for everything, I feel like that would be easy enough to project images onto the sides of buildings and put like little like cardboard cutouts or cute little, like, how when oh my gosh, where did we go? I can't remember if it was you, maybe it was Christine. I don't know, but when you go to events and they have, it looks like the little like red carpet banner background that has like the logo on like a white banner. You take pictures in front of it and it looks like you're on the
Mhm.
red carpet. Like they could have had stuff like that everywhere with
Yeah.
like cardboard cutouts and cute little things.
Like how
And they
they
didn't.
had like the like how they had a like a sick new world like the picture I posted.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
they could have had stuff like that. They didn't even have, like, I'm surprised, like, a parade or anything really. I know they had a couple, like, mini shows in Tomorrowland with Captain Phasma and the stormtroopers, but, like, again, nothing outside of Tomorrowland or Batuu except the little, like, lightsaber parade. So if you had a
Mhm.
lightsaber, then you all, like, walked in a little line and you waved your lightsabers, and it was lots of fun. But, like, I don't know, I felt like they could have done more. I
Yeah,
expected
for
more, and
sure.
I didn't get more. Because
Yeah.
I know a lot of people go, "Are you gonna do it again?" And I'm like, if it's gonna be like that, then no. But
Pass.
if it gets cheaper, which it won't, or it gets better, then sure. It
Which is
was
the
very
possibility. It could
yeah,
get better.
it could get better. It was, I will have to say, um, the crowd that was there that night, everybody was super respectful, super excited to be there. There was lots of us dressed up, which was always fun to see. So the actual people who attended the event were great. I was honestly expecting somebody to be rude or for there to be some kind of commotion, but the crowd was very good. So the crowd was 10 out of 10. The event was 6.5.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That seems fair.
But again, I think if they either made the actual event itself 8 hours, or if they let you start the festivities, you need more than 4 hours to do everything.
Well, yeah, especially if you're standing in line for food, for like not even food, like a snack for
Like a
40
snack.
minutes. That's like
Yeah.
a quarter of the time.
Yeah. And you're just like, ugh.
But I mean, at least it was fun. At least you had some fun for the most
Yeah.
part.
It was
Like
like me
overall
and
fun.
yeah, it was overall a good time. Me and the girls had a great time. We did like a little Disney bound situation. I was Obi-Wan Kenobi, Brooke was Anakin, and Lauren was Ahsoka. So we had a great time doing our
Fun.
makeup and doing
We
our
love a good
hair.
theme.
Yes, it was so exciting. It was so funny though because I have these knee-high boots that I actually wear with my Mandalorian costume. And I was like, those are perfect Obi-Wan Kenobi boots. But my poor broken ankle, my
Oh.
poor flat feet can't handle anything
Mhm.
anymore. So I walked to the tram, into the park, and to the lockers. And then I was like, oh, I'll take my boots off for the first 3 hours because that's not the event. I never put the boots back on. I stayed in my vans. And I'm like, it's okay. We got
at
pictured.
least at
Tabitha
least you
took
got
pictures
backup.
before. Yeah, Tabitha took pictures before we left, so we have some like full costume. And then most of our pictures from the actual park were waist up, so it was fine.
Mhm.
Nobody needed to know. Also, dressing up as Obi-Wan Kenobi gave me the excuse to buy the Jedi belt from Disneyland, so I now have a Jedi belt.
Yay.
Love that for me. I also because Brooke was gonna buy a lightsaber, so she was trying to decide, and I was like, "You should get the dark saber." And she was like, "But that's like over $200." And I said, "Yeah, but I told her because you have to get the blade because all the other ones are like 100 and something, the lightsabers, but that doesn't include the blade."
Mhm.
Um, and I was like, "You should get the dark saber," and then so she did, and then I ended up playing with it most of the night. So she kept like handing it to me to like retuck her shirt back in or do something, and then she's like, oh, okay, I'll take it down. I'm like, nope, it's
You're
mine
like,
now.
it's mine.
It's
I
mine.
play with now.
Goodbye. But yeah, we had a good time. I think for us as friends, we had a good time hanging out and chit
Mhm.
chatting and talking about Star Wars and future plans. Again, hopefully it'll be a bit either more extravagant or slightly better laid out next
Yeah,
year.
for sure.
Um, Disney, if you need somebody to help you with that, I will gladly help you with that in exchange for some tickets. So
That's all she wants.
that's it. And it'll be great. But Yeah, it was fun. I think if you're not a Star Wars nerd, then the only thing in it for you would be that most of the rides are open, so and
Yeah.
have like no wait time, so you could do that. But
Unless you were like a treat person and you were only going there for like the
for
exclusive
food,
treats.
which honestly, if I feel like, because I was talking with Tabitha beforehand, and she had watched a YouTube video, and she goes, "Yeah, the person kind of said that like you have to pick one. You have to pick the food, you have to pick the photo ops, or you have to
Yeah.
pick the rides. Like you can't do all of them."
Oh, that's so
So I
lame.
feel, yeah, and so I feel like if you're going for just the food, then you'd probably be really good. Like they had
Yeah.
some, I wanted to try. They had a selection of sliders that looked really
Mm.
good, and then they had a green apple slushy that I wanted to try. But that was over in Tomorrowland. So
Mhm.
like it seemed like every time we were looking into food, it was never like in the place we were already in. Like, ugh, okay. But like I feel like if you're going for one specific thing, then it's fine. It's when you start wanting to do it all that it doesn't work quite as well, you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
But but yeah, other than that it was fun. Um as of right now, I wouldn't recommend unless you truly, truly, truly are ready to sprint across the park for 4 hours.
Mhm.
Um, or you want to go just on the rides.
Yeah,
Because
gotta pick
again,
something. Pick one or
yeah,
the
pick
other.
pick one direction and stick with it, because otherwise you get like us where you could do one or two of everything and that's it.
Yeah.
But that was my yap session of an episode.
Woo!
So
We
you've
love
made
a
it
good
this
yapping.
far. Yeah, made it this far. Go ahead and subscribe to wherever you're listening to us. We've got a lot of things planned for the future. Um, by the time this episode goes up, you are still, if you're listening and you want to have a nice chat with Casey and I about something Disneyland, California Adventure, or Universal Studios related, we are launching a new series that is going to talk about rides and movies that are either influenced by them or they influence the rides. And you can find out all of that information on our Instagram. So don't forget to follow us there, all the other social media, and we will see you guys in the next
And
episode.
bye!